Test. Can you everybody hear me back there?
Hi, I'm Noah Gill, and I'll be giving the invocation. Please bow your heads with me. Eternal God, we thank you for the beginning of yet another beautiful semester here at Bethany. I pray that you bless us in this celebration and make your face shine on us. I pray that we feel your presence this fall, and that you bless all the students, faculty, and staff with a healthy semester. Thank you for gathering us all here today, and let us be your light unto others. Lord, we ask this in your name. Amen.
Welcome, students, faculty, staff, distinguished guests, board members, colleagues. Welcome to our opening convocation as we begin our 182nd year at Bethany College. I especially want to recognize our keynote speaker, Professor Emeritus and 1974 Bethany alumnus, Dr. Gary Capel. Dr. Capel reminds us that one's passion for teaching and learning lasts a lifetime. Thank you for being with us, Gary. Where are you? Over here. Standing here, I cannot begin to express my gratitude to everyone who made it possible for us to gather safely in person today. Bethany has always been about providing a highly personal, residential educational experience, and I am thankful that our community believes firmly in what we offer and has worked diligently to return us to some sense of normalcy and in person. While we have made significant strides since early 2020 navigating the pandemic, and while we remain in the green as an institution in our COVID warning system, we must not lose sight of the current reality. Everything can change, as we have learned. So I urge each of us to be flexible, agile, and understanding, and continue to follow the health and safety guidelines for the best of our students. I would like to pause on that phrase, for our students. A few weeks ago, we welcomed our newest students and asked them to sign the matriculation book. The signing of this book is a tradition that has been part of Bethany for generations, uniting current students and alumni. Such moments are catalysts for transformation, belonging, and growth, especially for our students. In a sense, signing, each of our students have said, this is your place, this is your time, your chosen path, and you are ready to be transformed each step of the way. In signing, you also became a part of #OneBethany. We could not be who we are without the vibrant community that defines us, and without the daily contributions everyone gathered here and not here with us make to create a place of meaning and purpose, which drives us to our success. So take time to thank each other even more this year, to celebrate those light bulb moments when they happen, and to continue to explore and to discover. The 1925 recipient of the Nobel Prize for Literature, George Bernard Shaw, once said, "Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself." Let's begin the work of creating ourselves as we begin this year. Let's also agree to make this new academic year one of growth and momentum. Last year, we shared the bonding #BethanyBold. In my time with you, we have shown our ability to be bold over and over again. Our college determination to be together despite COVID-19. With the 2020 academic year, we celebrate our accomplishments. Our college is finished its reaccreditation for the next 10 years with the Higher Learning Commission. We have a commitment for a long-term, multi-year restructuring project to infuse valuable resources into the college. We have focused on leadership development, diversity, equity, inclusion, and global engagement. Our growing partnerships, and most recently with Ogilvy, we are looking for ways to provide exciting opportunities in select academic programs, and even more are being explored as we speak. We've installed we're in the process of installing a state-of-the-art athletic field and a food service facility to enhance our student experience. We are in the process of opening the School of Graduate Studies to expand the college's mission and its academic offerings to the students we serve. We have redesigned our Masters of Arts in Teaching to the Masters of Education, which also began this year, and today we welcome Bethany's first class of students pursuing the Masters of Education in Teaching and Learning. Congratulations. Our boldness is also mirrored in our student retention, which is now at one of the highest percentages in more than a decade, and in our renewed sense of community, purpose, and bison pride as a student body. Additionally, we have affirmed and kept visible our religious heritage with the Christian Church Disciples of Christ, which continues to infuse our college with a unique spirit that has withstood the test of time. In the 2021-2022 academic year, as we are now officially underway, we must continue in bold thinking. We must encourage one another to speak up, to lead, to serve. Your ideas and talents and your commitment to holistic learning make each of us better and make Bethany thrive. The last hashtag of my tenure with Bethany College is #BethanyNow. With this, I encourage you in this year to share, deliberate, articulate, direct, guide, and partner as you embrace what it means to be Bethany now. Just as the matriculation book marks the beginning of our new students, so this academic year marks a new beginning for Bethany College. As I announced on September the 1st, I have decided it is time for me to hand over the reign of president to a new president in the coming years. To allow the board sufficient time to search for my successor, I will be stepping down at the end of December and moving into a personal sabbatical. Even as I leave, I do so, in the words of Bernard Shaw, to create and learn myself and to continue to create a life. I cherish the gift of learning, the same gift we all have dedicated our lives to, preparing students and individuals to be effective, honorable, humane, intelligent citizens who believe in and who will promote a world of worth and value. Serving as your president these last 6 years has been a true honor. Together, we have built bridges that point Bethany in the right direction, with the mantra, for our students, at the center core. Thank you for partnering with me in this journey. Like all roads in higher education, the bumps are there. Some will be larger than others. But through continued strategic planning, nimble response to the market, and collaborative vision, the Bethany spirit, as I know it to be, will persist and thrive for the next 100 years. And so we begin this new semester with a stronger foundation in place. So I offer these words. As you start this year, be courageous. Several years ago, a friend of mine shared remarks that she'd heard during another convocation, and I think they're true now. All of you have the power of courage. Courage does not mean success. Courage does not mean bravery. Courage means showing up. Whatever else happens in life, we control whether we are present, whether we are there. Win, lose, or draw, we decide whether we show up. This year, show up. Let's make a difference for one another. Have conviction. We all have a starting point for the way that we see the world. Learn from that. Open your mind to new perspectives, and then put yourself out there. Own what calls you, and then commit yourself to achieving it. Not seeing your path clearly at first is okay. Who among us knew how to play an instrument the first time we picked one up? Who mastered a sport after kicking the first ball? Who knew their passion when they were 2 years old. Not many of us. It takes time for interests to reveal themselves, for talents to take root. Be patient and allow this time this year, and at every age, for those talents to develop. Cherish the process of discovery and learn through it. Today's marketing experts sometimes tell us downplay the liberal arts, but our model is very clear. We develop adaptable, critical thinkers, strong leaders, lifelong learners who are prepared to lead in a constantly changing and challenging world. Savor that discovery at Bethany College. This is a special time, because in it you will find your true calling. Just ask our alumni. Next, diversity is woven into the very fabric of our souls. This is our world. I challenge you to embrace it. Seek to understand what that means. Celebrate it. We will only find common ground and understanding when we work as one, here and now, in our community, and as a shining witness on a hill to those beyond our community. Share your gifts. You have talents that are uniquely yours, God-given. Do not keep them to yourself. Share them. Teach others through them. Lift others up with them, and use them to make a difference in the smallest and the largest ways. Be kind. Finally, in closing, I admonish you to embrace hope. Our world is divided, and the news these days makes us question whether anything changes for the better. Take heart. Things will change for the better because Bethany graduates students who care. They are taught by the best faculty and supported by the best staff. Have hope in yourself. Surprise your world, and do your part to instill hope in others. Do not participate in the breaking of hope. Be the catalyst for hope. As Emily Dixon once penned, hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. Here is to a year of hope. Here is to a year to continue to be Bethany bold and to do so for Bethany now. Make it matter. Make it count for our students and for the college that unites us all. May God bless you as we begin this 182nd year at Bethany College.
Good morning. Our scripture reading this morning is Proverbs 2, verses 1 through 11. My son, if you accept my words and store up my commands within you, turning your ear to wisdom and applying your heart to understanding, indeed you call out for insight and cry aloud for understanding. And if you look for it as for silver and search for it as for hidden treasure, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord gives wisdom, from his mouth come knowledge and understanding. He holds success in store for the upright. He is a shield to those who walk in blameless. For he who guards the course of just and protects the way of his faithful ones. Then you will understand what is right and just and fair, every good path. For wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will pleasant to your soul. Discretion will protect you, and understand will guard you. Amen.
Let us pray together the prayer in your bulletin. God of wisdom, creator of heaven and earth, as we begin a new year of school, we offer our thanks and praise for the gifts of new beginnings and for the opportunity to learn and wander. We pray for the faculty, students, staff, and administration of Bethany College. May this year be of hope and hard work, of dedication and devotion. But with us as we face the challenge, be with us as we face the challenge of new tasks, the fear of failure, the expectations of parents, friends, and self. In our learning and in our teaching, may we grow in service to others and in love for your world. Amen. Please stand.
Now is time for the installation of the Student Government Association President and Vice President. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do hereby solemnly promise that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office to the best of my knowledge and ability. Thank you.
The Anna Ruth Bourne Award stimulates scholarship among the women's social groups. A silver cup, provided by an anonymous donor in honor of the former distinguished chair of the English department, is awarded to the recognized women's group whose active membership earns the highest scholarship standing each semester. Help me congratulate Phi Mu. The W. Kirk Woolery Award encourages the scholarship among men's social groups. A silver cup, donated by friends of the late Dr. Woolery, a former dean and provost of the college, is held by the recognized men's social group who earns the highest scholarship standing each semester. Help me congratulate the brothers of Beta Theta Pi fraternity. The Richard B. Kinney First Year Leadership Award is granted to a first-year student who has demonstrated outstanding scholarship, leadership, and character at Bethany, who has become actively involved in Bethany, and who has contributed service and devotion to the college community. The student must achieve at least a 3.5 grade point average during the first year at Bethany. The award honors the late Dr. Kenny, T.W. Phillips Professor of Old Testament Literature, who taught at Bethany from 1964 to 1986. This year's award winner was described by one nominee as having demonstrated the highest levels of scholarship, leadership, and character while embracing the Bethany ethos of service and devotion to college and community. While excelling in the classroom, the award winner has become active in Bethany College community. The nominee is a member of the track and field team. They also volunteered and completed the application to run as a leader in their class council. The winner is a member of a Greek organization and is serving in multiple offices for the organization. The student also became a student worker in the Office of Enrollment as a tour guide, giving tours to students and families. Another nominee stated, "In each endeavor, this student provides their considerable talent, leadership, and a contagious enthusiasm. This student is the kind of person who builds community wherever she goes." The winner is described as a loyal daughter of Bethany who is marking her mark as Bethany evolves in each group of incoming students. Help me congratulate Haley Viziak.
It is customary at this gathering to award an outstanding faculty member the John R. Taylor Memorial Award for the Liberal Arts. Professor Taylor famously claimed that he, quote, found a universe at this small college. And that ideal, the elusive promise that within an institution of higher learning, we might discover all that human beings might wish to understand or know, is one that has been associated with colleges like Bethany for nearly 1,000 years now. Indeed, the defining features of the first of these institutions at Bologna, Paris, Oxford, Cambridge, and Padua was that they offered studia generale, a study of virtually everything. And yet many of the features that we take for granted in colleges today did not exist in these earliest institutions. There were no majors, nothing that we would identify as a dissertation or a thesis, no freshmen, sophomores, juniors, or seniors identified as such, no departments, no clear dividing lines between faculty and administration. Those who were responsible for the teaching and the dissemination and the discovery of the knowledge were professors. Those who were there to gather these things were students. And by the 1400s, a distinctive institution arose within these larger institutions, the academic library. Indeed, it would not be a misstatement to claim that the libraries became the indispensable mechanism by which the universe could be stored within and accessed from a small college. The bringing together of books and eventually other forms of printed or printable and preserved sources of wisdom, the cataloging of those resources for students and faculty to find what they are looking for, and the circulation of them to the community surrounding came to define what it means to be a college. And it is because the library is a center for teaching and learning is Bethany's mission, that today's recipient of the John R. Taylor Award is widely recognized by students, faculty, administrators, and alumni at Bethany College as a model of the Bethany faculty member. Although she may not deliver lectures while presiding over classes, there is no question that she teaches and makes teaching possible for all of us. She may not have advisees in the sense that her name fills a key slot in the Eleusian screens, but every student who's worked in the library can speak to her influence on their lives and on their learning. Even in her spare hours, making Canvas work as our learning management software, she devotes herself again and again to advancing our college mission. Heather Ricciuti earned her bachelor's from Edinburgh University of Pennsylvania and a master's of library and information sciences from the University of Pittsburgh. After completing that terminal degree, she came almost directly to Bethany College in 1997. And after playing many roles within the library, she assumed her current title of the Mary Cutlip Director of Libraries and Learning Resources in 2011. She has served on numerous faculty and campus committees, including but not limited to the Curriculum Committee, the Welfare Committee, the Honors Committee, which she now chairs, the 2019 Strategic Vision Task Force, the Student Success Team, and the Pandemic Response Team. She's an active member of the American Library Association and the Western Pennsylvania, West Virginia chapter of the Association of College and Research Libraries. And she has served as one of the longtime members of the Executive Committee of the Appalachian College Association's Bowen Library of Appalachia. She co-chairs that vital resource for us in the ACA today. But her titles hardly comprehend her roles on this campus. Few colleagues whom I have known have been as thoughtful and learned about the work of the Liberal Arts College as she is. She studies what other institutions are doing, recommends valuable innovations in pedagogy and curriculum, thinks constantly about how we can help our students ask complex questions and formulate answers for themselves. She is a consistent and powerful voice for the value of the work we do. Furthermore, whenever the college needs someone to step up and complete a difficult task, she raises her hand and often provides both the space and the snacks really matter, that make success possible. To take only one example, this summer, when her week off finally came up, but only at that exact moment that we needed a team of devoted people to pull a series of marathon sessions completing a Title III Strengthening Institutions Program grant, Heather was there, organizing the team in the library, unspooling extension cords for the half-dozen computers running simultaneously, feverishly proofreading draft after draft, digging up resources and references, making invaluable suggestions. In short, making it possible for Bethany to put forward our vision for a transformative student success center located in a modern learning commons. At the end of this month, we'll know whether the $2 million that was requested in that application is going to come to Bethany College to help make that dream a reality. But today, I know that we would never have had a chance to claim that if she did not go that extra mile for us. She does it every single time. We all must admit that the last year or two have been especially challenging. But when I'm down, I'm reminded that we are all buoyed up by wise colleagues who persevere in advancing our sacred mission, who put teaching and learning at the center of all they do, and who never give up on Bethany College. One of those wise colleagues wrote me yesterday, quote, "Hang in there. I know the plates are full of angry people, vexing issues, and hard days. I value working with you even when the work is hard." Amen. Professor Ricciuti, we deeply value working with you, especially when the work is hard. Please join me in congratulating the recipient of the 2021 John R. Taylor Award in the Liberal Arts, the Mary Cutlip Director of Libraries and Learning Resources and Professor of Learning Resources, Heather Ricciuti.
I am pleased to share the recipient of this year's President's Award for Faculty Excellence. This faculty member has been faithfully teaching and advising students at Bethany College for 46 years. He completed his PhD in 1975 and arrived at Bethany in 1976, becoming full professor in 1989 and served as the department chair for over a decade between 1986 and 1997. His faculty colleagues in his department write this: "His classes are consistently among the top enrolled courses on campus. This semester alone, he has approximately 60 students in his classes and 60 across another 2 sections of one of his most popular classes. Despite the large class sizes, he has a remarkable ability to connect with each and every student he works with, so that each student feels valued and respected. Throughout his tenure here, he has taught almost every course offered in the department. He demystifies difficult concepts, not only for majors in his area, but for many students across varied disciplines. He applies the course material directly to real-world information and allows the students to truly connect with their learning. He has also been the champion of student research. Throughout his career, he has presented or published more than 100 research studies with undergraduate co-authors. He ignites passion for independent research with his students. His mentoring has led his students to high levels of graduate school admissions and employment. After teaching many years, it would be easy to grow complacent in one's job. This has not been the case with him. His teaching methods continually evolve to meet the ever-changing needs of his students. He has been a leader and a champion in several diversity initiatives across campus and is open to examining his own teaching to build connections and to advance our students toward their goal of graduation. He has always gone above and beyond what's asked for him. He shows up for our students at sporting events and cheers them on. He comes in on his days off to prepare nervous students for comprehensive exams. He never caps his classes and will take on any student who wishes to learn. He maintains vibrant connections with our alumni and engages them. For the faculty in his department, he serves as a mentor and a role model. He has always been willing to speak up for the disenfranchised, including junior faculty members and students of diverse backgrounds. Oh yes, did we mention he is an emergency medical responder as well? His resume is too long for me to recite all of his accolades, 14 pages to be exact. He is a true legacy and a representative of what it means to be a Bethanian. Please join me in congratulating Dr. John Hull. It is now my pleasure to introduce the faculty, the President's Award for Excellence for the staff. Let me first start by saying that I received 4 nominations for the Staff Award, and all of them were for the same person. The hiring date was Monday, February 25th, 2002, almost 20 years ago. 2002 was President Dwayne Cummins' last year here. September 11th had happened 5 months prior, and President George Bush had just begun airstrikes in Afghanistan. One nominator began working here in 1997, 5 years before the awardee, recalls that this person would always pick up work that no one else had the time or desire to do, and provided a welcoming face in a turbulent time. She handled those tasks that others did not want to handle, and others sought her feedback and guidance in a straightforward and honest and incredible supportive way. She is an outstanding listener, organizer, problem solver, and cheerleader. She puts up with a great deal in the office that has always shown up when asked, and often when she hasn't been. When I think of Bethany and people that make a difference every single day, she rises to the top of the list. Another nominator, who's been here for 13 years, writes, "She has always been kind, helpful, and made me feel like Bethany was a place where I could work for a long time. I have watched this one individual step into multiple roles in order to help the institution in various times of need, and always displays a constant level of professionalism. She has worked out plans to run major events and that are difficult under the best of circumstances, but also rose to those challenges under the protocols of COVID-19. She works hard to organize the events, to increase the morale on campus, and helps our employees get to know each other." Her employment at Bethany College began as an administrative secretary, assisting in various offices. Less than a year later, she moved to the duplicating mailroom center as the coordinator, where she spent the next 5 years. In 2007, she became the financial aid counselor for 2 years and before returning to her previous position. In 2011, she became the Dean's Faculty Executive Secretary. Finally, in 2018, she took on the role of Administrative Assistant for the Provost, where she continues today. She has one of the best work ethics of anyone I have ever met. If someone needs something, she steps up. Just recently, she took on the additional unofficial role of running the Registrar's Office during a transition, all while maintaining the front desk of the Provost's office. Please join me in congratulating Kathy Gordon. Now it is with great pleasure that I announce the students who have achieved the distinction of being members of the President's List. Included in the program are the names of 47 students who through diligent work have earned a perfect 4.0 with at least 12 graded credit hours during the spring semester of the 2021 academic year. Would those students who have achieved and earned this distinction please stand? I commend you in your achievements and wish you great success as you go forward in the pursuit of knowledge. Congratulations.
It is with great pleasure that I announce the students who have achieved the designation of Students Distinguished in Scholarship and who are therefore members of the Dean's List. Included in the program are the names of 91 students who, through diligent work, have earned a 3.65 grade point average or higher during the spring semester of the 2020-2021 academic year. It is the judgment of our expert faculty, whose deep commitment informs the mission of Bethany College, that each of these students has excelled academically and is worthy of this recognition. Will those students please stand? We commend you for your achievements and wish you great success as you continue forward in your pursuit of knowledge. Please join me in congratulating these students again. It is also my honor to get to introduce today's speaker. Dr. Gary Capel is as Bethanian as they come. In spite of a brief and somewhat inexplicable enrollment at West Virginia University that's rumored to have happened in his first year as an undergraduate, he transferred to Bethany College and graduated from Bethany in 1974, summa cum laude with a degree in English. He returned to West Virginia University for a graduate study, earning a master's in 1980 and his doctorate in history awarded in 1987. While completing the latter degree, he returned to Bethany, first as a lecturer in history and theater, and ultimately as a professor of history. He also served as the Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs, twice as the Interim Dean of the Faculty, and as Bethany's first Director of the Office of Institutional Effectiveness. As the Academic Liaison Officer to the Higher Learning Commission, he twice guided Bethany through rigorous decennial reaffirmations of accreditation. He's been a faculty fellow in numerous settings, including a summer seminar in the Aspen Institute, and he has taught in or served as an exchange scholar in Germany, the Czech Republic, Mongolia, Vietnam, China, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom. Dr. Capel is among the most honored instructors in Bethany's long and storied history of legendary faculty. He was named the Richard B. Kinney Outstanding Professor in both 1988 and 2004, received the Faculty Recognition Award from the Alumni Council in 1992, the Macbeth Award for the Computing in the Liberal Arts and Sciences in 2000, the John R. Taylor Award in the Liberal Arts in 2014, and the President's Award for Excellence Faculty in 2016. In 2018, the Board of Trustees of Bethany College named Dr. Capel Professor of History in the Peary and Elise C. Gresham Chair in the Humanities Emeritus and the Historian of the College. Please join me in welcoming our Convocation speaker, Dr. Gary Capel.
Beautiful day, isn't it? Good morning, Dr. Rodenberg, members of the faculty, my former colleagues, administrators, staff, friends of the college, and most importantly, students, particularly members of the class of 2025. Got to get my eyes out here. In the words of that famous philosopher, raconteur, man about town, and Hall of Fame catcher, the only man ever to catch a perfect game in a World Series, Yogi Berra, I would like to thank all the people who have made this day necessary. More seriously, I am delighted and humbled that the President has asked me to address this august occasion, the opening convocation beginning the 182nd year of this institution, an unbroken string reaching back to the days of the Van Buren administration, to a time before long-distance electronic communication was possible, when Queen Victoria was only in the 4th year of her reign, which would last for nearly 60 more. And I could go on, but I was told by my wife not to go too hard on the history stuff. But of course, that's pretty hard to do when one is an historian by training and has steeped himself in the study of the past for virtually his whole life. Although I did wander into the field of literature in my undergraduate degree here at Bethany, before returning to the history fold in my graduate work and in my professional career. And so, I just can't help feeling I've been here before. 36 times before for an opening convocation, and literally hundreds of times for other events in this lovely space, including my own graduation, or in commencement hall, including my wedding, to miss don't go too hard on the history over there. So when I was asked to give this address, in many ways it felt very much like perhaps Yogi's most famous observation, it's deja vu all over again, hence the title of the presentation. And of course, it's not just the venue or the occasion that invokes my sense of deja vu. When I look around me at the events happening here on campus, in the United States, and in the world, I get an eerie feeling that we've been here before. For example, I know we were all hoping for a more exposed semester this fall, but these things, right? The college has done the right thing in dealing with the COVID, and I commend the president and her staff and faculty for putting your safety ahead of any preconceived notions about normalcy. In the United States, we are witnessing a wave of voter suppression maneuvers by smirking state legislators, pretending that what they are doing is perfectly legitimate and not designed to disenfranchise people they don't want having a say in how we run our country, which is their country too. They said the same things in the days of Jim Crow. And the American historian Crane Britton, in his seminal work, The Anatomy of Revolution, pointed out that in a period of turmoil, as new groups of people clamor to enjoy the rights and privileges that the old order already enjoys, the privileged classes will often circle the wagons in a last-ditch effort to protect their privileges against these new groups, throwing up one barrier after another to the expansion of liberty and freedom. We've been here before, too. On the world stage, we watched as the United States ended its 20-year involvement in Afghanistan amid scenes eerily familiar to the spring of 1975 and the fall of Saigon, even to the point of juxtaposing pictures of Chinook helicopters flying above a capital city about to fall to insurgents. It literally, by the way, could have been the same helicopter, because that model of helicopter, the CH-47, was first flown in 1961 and is still a workhorse of military aviation, which reminds us that we used to build good stuff in this country that lasted a long time, unlike our throwaway culture today. Well, anyway, it seems that everywhere I look, both as a person and as an historian, I get these eerie vibes that I've been here before. And as historians, we like to think we have seen it all before. There are several famous quotes that speak to this phenomenon. George Santayana, "Those who cannot remember the past are doomed to repeat it." Or, "We learn from the past that we do not learn from the past," i.e., the human race has a pretty flat learning curve when it comes to this sort of thing. And my favorite, "History is just one damn thing after another," or worse, the same damn thing over and over again. Hence my choice of title. Now, is there any hope of breaking out of this sense of repetitiveness, this feeling that we've seen it all before, and that it will end the same way that it did the last time? And I would remind you, one of the characteristics of a good historian is that she or he have a pretty strong stomach, because it usually doesn't end very well. Well, allow me to suggest that there is indeed hope, and that your being in this place at this time is perhaps the greatest expression of that hope. The hope that comes from understanding that knowledge is the true source of all change in life, and there is no better place to encounter that knowledge, develop it, refine it, absorb it, and practice what we learn from it than a place such as Bethany College. For 180 years, at first young men, and then after 1878, pretty darn early for these sorts of things, young women as well have come to this special place to learn and to grow. I often said in my days as a faculty member that if a student was exactly the same at commencement that he or she was at matriculation 4 years before, we probably really hadn't done our jobs right. And by that, I don't mean that you can't still have the same beliefs and principles you came here with. only that you now know why you believe those things, can articulate the reasons why you believe them, and how they underpin the principles by which you live your daily lives. So what makes this place so special, so transformative, to steal a buzzword from a previous president and using it in a completely different context? That's a joke for faculty, okay? Well, I think it arises from two principles that our founder, Alexander Campbell, proclaimed again and again over his 26 years as the first president of the college: a deep commitment to the liberal arts and to the principle of lifelong learning. At commencement in 1845, Campbell articulated this very clearly in his belief that learning was not something that one did for a while, received the proper credentials, and then retired from the learning process. He said, quote, "Every student is, at graduation, merely licensed to become their own teacher and pupil." That is, learning is a lifelong process, one which does not end with the granting of a degree, but rather permeates one's life throughout all of its triumphs and travails. What we hope you learn here at Bethany is, above all, how to learn. We all know the old saw that experience keeps a dear school, but a fool will learn in no other. Well, what kind of education would spare us from that foolishness, i.e. the inability to learn from others and to teach yourself? You guessed it. A liberal education, steeped in traditions going back 2,000 years and more. Now, you all know, or at least I hope you do, what Campbell had to say about the liberal arts, because we put it in the catalog, right? And you all have already committed that document to memory, haven't you? Right? Well, let me refresh your memory. Campbell said, "They are called liberal arts and sciences, not merely because they free the human mind from vulgar prejudices, ignorance, and error, which they certainly do, but because they are general in their character and applications, and open to us an extensive acquaintance with literature, science, and art, and thus furnish us with the means of extending our acquaintance with nature, society, and the Bible to any extent commensurate with the wants of our nature and the limits of our existence." In other words, they liberate us. It is the liberating character of this kind of education that makes it liberal. That is, liberating for the individual, to free him or her from, again, quoting Campbell, the tyranny of others. As such, it harkens back to the ancient Latin phrase artis liberalis, and the concept that these arts were necessary for and worthy of a free person. Now, people who know me may find what I'm about to say next a little shocking, but I do have a bone to pick with Mr. Campbell on this, and it deals specifically with the final phrase of that quote, the limits of our existence. Because you see, I am a humanist by conviction, and as such, I question the fact that there may be limits to our existence. As a humanist, I believe in two fundamental principles: the infinite capacity of the human mind to strive for understanding, and the infinite capacity of the human heart for empathy and compassion. These two characteristics are not limited in any way by our biological heritage, who our parents, our grandparents were, etc., nor by our sociological experiences, all of which are themselves subject to examination by both of those qualities, head and heart. So no, Mr. Campbell, I don't believe that there are limits to our nature. And I'm not the only one who thinks or thought that. Indeed, on my side of the argument, I have the writings of perhaps the most famous man in all of Italy and beyond in the latter part of the 15th century, Giovanni Pico della Mirandola. Giovanni Pico, Prince of Mirandola. Now, this guy was truly remarkable. By age 23, he was an international sensation for his writings, one of which became the very first mechanically printed book, what we call incunabulum, to be banned and burned by the Catholic Church. And at just 23, to have written something that cheesed off the Pope so much that he ordered all copies burned, well, that makes you realize how little you've accomplished in your 68 years. Now, he became widely recognized as perhaps the most important philosopher of the Italian Renaissance. Again, no small feat, given the surplus of brilliant, talented, and creative people wandering about northern Italy at that time. For my money, his most important work was a speech he never got to give, and instead published as a foreword to that above-mentioned book, the 900 Theses, ordered by the Pope to be burned. At least they didn't burn Pico, so I guess we're good there. Its title is An Oration on the Dignity of Man. The dignity of man. A phrase which often dies on our lips when we consider all the indignities humans have inflicted upon one another over the past thousands of years or so, and which my discipline is charged with recording. Now, I always had my first-year students and my history majors read part of this work at some point. The particular passage I wanted them to see was a scene in the Garden of Eden where God speaks to Adam about being a human being. Pico has God saying, "Look, Adam, unlike the fish of the sea, the beasts of the field, the birds of the air, all of whom I have created and put in their place, to you alone I have placed no limits. In conformity with thy free judgment, in whose hands I have placed thee, thou art confined by no bounds, and thou wilt fix the limits of thy nature for thyself. Thou art the molder and the maker of thyself. Thou mayest sculpt thyself unto whatever shape thou dost prefer. Thou canst grow downward into the lower natures, which are brutes. Thou canst grow upward again from thy soul's reason into the higher natures, which are divine." In other words, it's up to us. If we insist on making the same mistakes over and over again, of being brutes to one another, not to mention ourselves, by the way, we have no one to blame but ourselves. You can't blame your genes, you can't blame your parents, you can't blame your circumstances, you can't blame anyone but yourself. And it is the tools of Mr. Campbell's vision of a liberal education that give us the power, through our soul's reason, to escape that brutish fate, both as an individual and as a society, and rise to the level of angels. Now, my knowledge of the past tells me that this is not easy, that rising above the level of the beasts into the realms of angels seldom really happens completely. It's so rare, in fact, we have a special word for people like that. We call them saints. And we acknowledge that they are somehow different from the rest of us. People who live more fully and more vividly a life guided by their soul's reason. And we honor and remember them in many different ways. You don't have to be proclaimed a saint by the successor to that guy who burned Pico's book to be recognized as one. All you have to do is demonstrate in your daily life that you strive for understanding, that you have empathy and compassion for your fellow human beings, and that you never stop learning. Believe it or not, while that is a pretty tall order, I say to you again, your being here in this place at this time reassures me that you understand that. A liberal education, the kind that you will receive at a place like this, is the most important aid you will ever come across in your struggles to rise to the level of angels. Without it, perhaps there is indeed no hope that we can ever rise above the seemingly endless cycle of folly and disaster that litters the pages of our past, that makes it so necessary for historians to have a strong stomach, that gives us all the sinking feeling that we've been here before. Yes, I've been here before many times. Many times in your life going forward, you will undoubtedly experience that same sense of deja vu, that sense of it's just one damn thing after another, or the same damn thing over and over again. But in those times, remember the words of Pico. Remember that there are no limits placed on you, that you can strive to understand even the most complex and alien of ideas, and that you can exhibit the most human and humane qualities of empathy and compassion for your fellow human beings. It's a long road, sometimes a lonely one, but it is not a hopeless one. By coming to this place, you have taken an important step on that road. Alma Mater, nourishing mother, can provide you with the tools to avail yourself of all the opportunities that come your way and to allow you to rise, even if just a little higher day by day, above the level of the brutes and toward the level of the angels. Accept that challenge. Use your own soul's reason for the purpose Pico's God gave it to you in the first place. Be the molder and the maker of thyself. Yes, I've been here before, many times, and there's no other place I'd rather be. Thank you.
Please remain standing, and because Dr. Capel has been here before, he also has a beautiful voice, and I'm going to ask him to lead us in our alma mater.
Don't have it? Well, for those of you who know the tune, we'll sing along, and those of you who don't, all God's children got a place in the choir. Some sing lower and some sing higher. Some sing out loud on the telephone wire. Some just clap their hands. Excuse me. All hail to thee, bright alma mater. Our hearts' true affection twines closely to thee. How dear to our hearts are the scenes of old Bethany. Godspeed, alma mater, and dear old Bethany. Godspeed, alma mater, and old Bethany. We'll honor and crown thee, O bright alma mater, for thou art the regent of our destiny. We bring thee the gems and the treasures of memory. Godspeed, alma mater, and dear old Bethany. Godspeed, alma mater, and old Bethany.
And in thanks for those wonderful, inspiring words, Dr. Capel, enjoy this on behalf of your colleagues.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Please stay standing. In the Irish tradition and roots of our college, I leave you with an old Irish blessing. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and may the rains fall soft upon your fields. Until we meet again, may you be held in the palm of God's hand. Until we meet again, may you be held in the palm of God's hands. God bless you.